Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue learning about using type in Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to focus on making this logo today. And I thought this was a good logo to recreate because it's got a lot of things going on. It's got some different sized words, right? It's got some larger letters even within the word. It's got some stacked words. It's got tight kerning here on the Lord and the Rings, and it's got very open kerning on the Return of the King. So we're just going to recreate this and see how we can do that in Adobe Illustrator, and just to practice using a lot of things we've done. It's even got some like texture kind of effects going on here with this bevel and with the little chunks taken out, making it look like, you know, kind of old metal, you know, that's been through some tough times. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. And the first thing I think I need to do is we're going to put this on a different layer. So, well, it's already on a layer. I brought it in. Now, you don't need to get this. You can if you want to. You can just follow along visually, you know, on my computer. If you want to get this, you can just go to the internet and search for this movie logo. But that's up to you. Okay, so because I have that, I'm going to keep it on a separate layer so I can turn it on and off if I need to, and just that sort of thing. I'm going to go New Layer. And I'm just going to hit OK. I don't think I'll need more than 2 layers. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that one just because I'm not going to be messing with it other than turn it on and off. But all the work I'm going to do here is going to be on layer 2 for now. So let's go ahead and hit Command R if you don't have your ruler showing. And I brought my ruler. And I want to just establish like a line here, like a baseline for the ORD and the rings and all that. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that down. And I'm not going to trace this. I don't want it to like necessarily, I'm not trying to trace it, put it right on top of it, but I want to just kind of see how close I can get visually, you know, without tracing it, without putting letters right on top, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, so I need to start typing things. So let's go ahead and get the type tool, and I'm just going to click down here. I can move it later, and I'm going to hit ORD. And for me, I like to just keep things separate. So I'm not going to type the Lord of the Rings and all that and then Return of the King all right now. It's not going to help me so much to do that. But the ORD are together. The L is larger, so I'm going to just keep that separate. I just find it easier. Now, I got to use the font they used. And one of the reasons I use this logo is because it's in Trajan Pro. And if you have Adobe Illustrator, you probably have Trajan Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift and make my letters larger. And again, I'm just kind of getting the closest size. I could put it on and see how close I can make it almost perfectly lined up with the letters, but I don't need to do that. Okay, so let's see our letters here. Definitely looks like the bold version, right? If I go to regular, that looks a lot thinner. So I'm going to go with the bold. Okay, and obviously I'm going to have to kern these a little closer together here. So let's go ahead and go to my character window. Right here, character, right? If you don't have it, it's going to be under Window, Type, and then Character. But I've got it open here since I've been messing with a lot of the font stuff lately. So I got this here. I'll go ahead and kern this way down. These letters are really close together. And depending on how lazy you're feeling, you could just go in here and type in numbers. And sometimes I do if I know it's going to be a large increment, but you know, I'm feeling a little lazy. Now I'm feeling not as lazy, so let's go ahead and bring this D in closer to the R. And even that doesn't quite look close enough, so I'm just going to bring it in further. You can see they're just right up against each other there on the bottom. And something like that. Okay, got something to start with here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. So I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to just kind of bring this over here. And you know what? I need to bring this on the. I'm going to put this on my. I'm going to undo that. Let's see. So before I duplicate it, I want to put it on this guide here, just so I can know it's sitting kind of right on it there. All right, good. And you can see the overhang is going a little bit below. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it by holding down Option. and shift so it kind of stays in line. Go back to my type tool, and I got the I here, and I'm just going to type INGS. And no, not the S, sorry. ING, ing. Okay, and I can see they shortened the I. I can see the N's also got a little bit of a extra serif going on up there. So okay, we'll deal with that later. Not a big deal. That's just, a decision by the designer, possibly looking at it and thinking it looked, inconsistent or looked like it could use something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it does look kind of cool, and it does definitely look like it might feel like it's missing right here, maybe. Okay, let's see. Okay. Just kind of looking at the space there and imagining putting the serif and then bringing that down. And of course I can adjust that later, but I want to get it as close as I can right now. And then check out the G here. So the G, it's got this serif missing, chopped off right there, okay? All these little adjustments are, easily made when we create this into outlines, when we turn this into outlines. Okay, so I've got that going. And of course, if I was making this logo, we'd be working from a sketch, right? We'd be working from something we've kind of pre-thought out. Right now, we're just copying the actual logo, but this is more about how to use the different tools we've been learning and some new ones than about how to think through creating a logo. Okay, so I just duplicated it again, and I'm going to type in an L. And I can see that it looks like the L was lengthened, right? I mean, when they made this L, just to show you the way the proportions have been changed here. So let me go try and make it the same size. Somewhere around there. But you can see here how the top of the L was lengthened out like that. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to kind of place it pretty close to that O. And then after I create outlines, I'm going to have to take this L and bring that top way up there. Okay, so while I've got this L kind of nice and big, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it, and that's now going to become my S. Okay, which looks like it's pretty much in line with the top of these letters here. So whenever I've got that going on, I want to bring down a guide once again. Oh, and look at this. How did my letters get smaller when I duplicated them? Well, that is odd. Oh, I know what I did. I did not hold down Shift. Interesting. Okay, let's retype these. So take note, right? Because my lowercase letters are different. And, I have not really studied this enough to check and make sure each one is either lowercase or uppercase. And it's fine, whatever. But I need to stay consistent with myself here. And with the ORD, I need to make sure they match the ORD. All right, so hopefully you learn from my mistakes. Definitely make them. All right, let's bring this N back in again. And then the G back in. You can see I'm doing it the lazy way and just holding down the button. There we go. I got my S up here. And if I'm looking here at this L and then the return of the king and then the bottom of the S, looks like there's some alignment happening there. So if I'm happy with the spacing of my L, which I'm looking at, let me try one more thing here. Now I got myself thinking about uppercase and lowercase. Okay, I'm going to bring that about there. And so I'm going to base it all off this. I got to base the S off the bottom of the L. So I'm going to go ahead and bring a guide down to be the kind of like line that's going to guide the size of all those things. And now I've got my S here, and I'm going to make it larger, but I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm taking into account the overhang that the S needs because it's a little bit rounded. So I definitely want to make it go a little bit below and probably a little bit above. So here we go. Looking at my guide. I was not careful enough. So let's go ahead and find that guide. So I'm going to open up my layers and find that guide. Here it is. Throw that one away. And let's make a new one. And you can always do that. So again, learning from my mistakes. I was going kind of fast, brought the guide down, and I have to just kind of guess where it exactly would be, you know, knowing that there will be not an overhang on the top. It wouldn't be called overhang. I don't know what you'd call that. But the round letters also kind of extend above the X height there. So I'm just kind of like lining it up there. You can see how the O is a little taller than the R and the D. The opposite of an overhang. A underhang? Does it make any sense? I don't know what you'd call that. It's not a hang. So an over... What's the opposite of a hanging? Extender. I don't know. An overextension. We'll make up a new graphic design term today. Okay, I'm going to go a little smaller with that. Overextension. I really have no idea what to call that. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I know in the G they're going to get rid of that, so the S is going to be tighter. So I'm going to bring it in a bit. Actually, no, I'm going to have to leave it out, I think, until I erase that part of the G. No, I don't. I can bring it in. Because it's a different... Holding Shift to keep it in line. Because it'll be a different object, because I did not make these... I did not type it with ing. Okay. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. So I'm going to go ahead and... Let's see. I'm just going to duplicate the letters again. Just because I can. And I'm going to start typing all the other words here. So the first one's the... Let me see. I'll go capitals there. And I have to go way down with these. Oh, I forgot the R. Gotta get that R in there. I'm going to zoom in now. Okay, I'm going to put it a little above there. Okay. Let's turn that a little tighter. Just clicking between the letters. I want to kern. Bringing it in. Okay, okay. So looking at where the letters start, just to kind of get my size. So I think I need to make it a little smaller to be close to what they have. I think the kerning is a little tighter as well. Okay. Might work for me. I still have a feeling it's a little smaller. We'll go with that. And the tricky thing is in this logo, kind of part of the look of it is a lot of things are different sizes. We got a lot of different kind of things going on, right? We have the L being the largest, then we have the R, then we have the ORD, and then even the NG is different from the I, but about the same. Then you have the up here that looks slightly larger than the bottom text down there. So you have a lot of different sizes. Normally, I would recommend not having these two different sizes. In this goes into more of the creation of logos and thinking through it. Anything that's too close in size tends just to look off as opposed to different. We want definitely to have like a large, medium, small. You want clear steps in your different sizes is the way I would approach things in graphic design. Okay, either way, here we go. Let's get that R in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this L and duplicate it and make an R. And let's see what's going on here with this R. So I'm going to get it kind of in place here and take a look and see how everything looks. In comparison. Looks close. Looks close. Yet I know it's lower than the. Substantially lower than the. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little smaller. Kind of try to get this leg of the R kind of in position here. In the correct position. And it looks like it is about even with the I there, so maybe it is a little bit larger. Or maybe they just extended it a little further. Which I think is more likely to be the case as I'm looking at it. But who knows? Just guesswork. Okay, we'll stick with that. And I have not left enough room for the of and the right there. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over a bit. I'm just going to grab them all with a black arrow. Hold down shift and kind of give it some space here. And I'm just giving it a lot of space. And then I'm going to go in and adjust it in a second. But I'm going to take the over here and type. Actually, I'm going to leave the because we've got a the there. And I'm going to duplicate that again. And now I'll type of. Okay, and I'm going to just kern that because I can see that it's too far. And you will notice there are some differences, right? Like this F looks longer. Well, maybe it just looks larger. We'll see. I thought it looked different. But some letters will look different. But they obviously messed with these letters quite a bit. Okay, just bringing it close together. And obviously it's a little bit bigger. Whoops. Don't want to grab all of them. So I'm going to size it up a bit. And it's not quite on the baseline here, is it? It's a little bit. Let's check here. Let's double check how far it is. Yeah, if I put a guide there, it's definitely, you know what, I might as well just guide this thing up here so we can see what's going on. Let's drop these guides for now. We can see the alignment kind of happening. And you can see it's just kind of in the space there. So we will stick it in the space there. And maybe a little larger. Just kind of looking at my alignment here. And maybe a little larger. Okay, let's bring it to where it goes. I think I might need to tighten things up just a little bit. So let's get my text. I can't tell. It's hard to tell with the drop shadows too that are in there. The drop shadows will make things look closer together than they are. This little drop shadow around the text. Okay, that looks all right to me. Looking at the here, I think it needs to go over just a tad. You can also use your arrows on your keyboard to move things over. But sometimes the increments aren't what you're looking for because it does move in like little increments. And sometimes they're just not, it's not precise enough. Okay, so I'm going to grab the rings here And we're going to bring this way in because it's really close to the everything's very tight up there. Once again, let's zoom in. Let's bring this a little too tight. Let's see. And I'm looking at my R here, and I think it's a little too low for how theirs is, which might also make it a little too big. So just some minor tweaking here. So I'm just looking at the space between the and the R here, and it looks a little tighter. And this text looks a little smaller, I believe. We'll see. But minor, I shouldn't nitpick here. This is not about the nitpicking. It's more about the idea of what we're doing. But I gotta say, putting them on, making them public on YouTube makes me want to try to get things right. Yet I gotta watch my time, because we don't want this video to go for 5 years. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna take this duplicate that since it's the closest to my font size down here. And let's go and type the rest of the text here. Return of the King. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on. So it's a little big because they did make a different size there. Just kind of glancing at everything. And it's way, the kerning or tracking is much more spread out. I still think the text looks a little big. Size it down again. And let's see. Okay, let's keep going here. I feel like the letters aren't. The words might be more spread out now than the letters are. Because letters are spread out, but not obscenely spread out. Let's see. Well, let's see what it looks like if I just adjust it with tracking. And so the text looks a little. The words look too spread out. So let's go ahead and. Ooh, I'm gonna have a time. There we go. I got it. Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring it in. I'm just kind of looking at the word king and seeing how close the letters look together. Again, okay, I don't want to nitpick, just want to get it about. So now if I'm going to place the kind of where they have it here. And then the king is going to have to go a little further out. So I think I just am going to add some spacing between the text here. And I'm going to the kerning for this. Kind of bringing it up a little bit. And I can see I can definitely just select like a high number here. Like plus 75. And I'm just going between the text. Let's see where this gets me. Wrong text. Let's try that again. Get down here. Okay, so I am hitting my text up there. So what I need to do is lock it, I think. And I can see my ing is actually kind of far. So let's go ahead and let's kern that while I'm here. Maybe I do want to go there. Okay, I got to bring that way in here. And they're just about to touch there. Okay, that brings my S in a bit as well. All right, back to king. There we go. Okay, so it has to go much more over. So let's see. Did I add it here? I don't know if I added it between the of and the... Nope, that's the wrong text. So if I keep selecting this text up here, I can always lock it and just stop doing it for sure. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to lock the ing. So that does not happen anymore. Okay, so let's try adding an extra 100 in this. See if this gets me close enough. All right, we are almost there with this text. So I'm just looking and seeing if I can see any larger spaces. I think it actually just looks a little tighter. Everything looks tighter. I'm not sure. Let's just space it out further. Get this thing to fit. I just want the G and king to kind of come a little further over underneath the larger G. Getting close. And it's not dead on exact, but it's pretty close. Okay, there we go. Well, we have our basic setup going here. And next thing we need to do is turn it to outlines and start messing with the shapes here that we'll create. All right, and we will do that on the next video. And thanks for joining me on this one. I'll see you guys next time.